What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. We are live on YouTube, X, and Rumble. You can also find this in podcast form. Just search Packernet. That's one word, Packernet. And that'll send you to the Packernet Podcast Network, where you can find this podcast and a much better podcast known as the Packernet Podcast. So make sure you check that out. I'm joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. Also, I think he might be in the office tonight. We got Emilio, a.k.a. Excelio, in Tennessee. And then, of course, we got Tim up there in God's country, Green Bay, Wisconsin. So hopefully everybody had an awesome day. I know the weather is a little – I don't know what you would call it. What's the word here? I don't think schizophrenic's the right term. What is it, guys, when they can't make their mind up? It's just back and forth. You never know what you're going to get. But my face is blistered today from this cold wind. I know that. So how's everybody doing?
Doing good, man. Happy to be here. How you doing over there, Captain America? You doing good?
Yeah. Hey, I'm great. You're talking to me or Jacob. Either way, woke up, house was 60 degrees after it being 30 all night, and then got out there and it was 70 today, and I got a sunburn, so we're cruising.
There you go. All right.
Jacob, what's it like over on the western front of Wisconsin, man? What's the weather like over there, brother?
It was actually beautiful today. It was about 55, a little sunny. Wind's just a little breeze, you know.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Good.
Same here.
And since Tim made the Captain America comment, let's just get something out of the way real quick, all right? So we had a YouTube comment.
Sorry, guys.
We had a YouTube comment on the American flag being in Emilio's background. I want to be really, really clear here. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. If you don't like an American flag being on this show, this ain't the show for you. I'm just going to be 120% honest with you, okay? That's just the way it is. When I see that flag, I think of the men and women who sacrificed their lives so some pansy-ass knucklehead can sit in their mom's basement and go, I don't like the flag. Get over it. Find something else to watch. It's that freaking simple. All right?
And there's plenty of content for you guys out there.
Plenty.
Go
plenty
pick something else.
And again, this ain't a political statement. This is just, if you're going to be a moron and pretend like the American flag represents something negative, you've been brainwashed a little too much. So I know we got people who have served our country in the chat right now. It seems like those type of people gravitate toward our channel because we show respect for those people who sacrifice everything, put it on the line. Again, it's just really, really simple. If that's not for you, it's not for you. No hard feelings. Don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you. It's that simple. All right. So let's get into some Packers content here this evening, gents. We had several top 30 visits that came down to Packer. I'm kind of excited about this one here, man. And really, there's a couple late round as well that really got me excited. One of them in particular, the cornerback out of Florida. We'll talk about him. But let's start off with this one here. Mr. Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State. As you see him hoisting the national championship trophy. We kind of talked about this last night, gang, how it just seems like Goody wants to take a look at national champions. You know what I mean? Like we seen him really try to tap into the stockpile down there in Georgia when they won the Natty. And now you see with Ohio State, I don't know how many we're up to now. Emilio, you may know right offhand. I'm not sure, but there's at least 3, maybe 4 Ohio State guys that we've had in for a top 30 visit now, right? With Tyleik Williams being maybe the 3rd or 4th.
Yes, I think Tyleik is 3. I'm about to put the target on him right now.
Nice. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So let's kind of dive into Tyleik Williams. Before we do, let's go around the horn one time here. I want to get everybody's take. How do you feel about Tyleik Williams before we dive into the I don't know, the details, I guess you could say, of his college career, where he came from in high school, all that good stuff. Let's go around the horn once there.
I think he's one of those borderline guys, right? Possibly 1st round or 2nd round pick. Lot to like about him, honestly. Just looking at his PFF grade, 79.2 last year. So, I mean, we've talked about him a little bit. I haven't gone, too far in depth with him, but it looks like he can play the nose and the 3 tech if we really needed him to. So certainly interesting prospect for sure.
Yeah. As far I'm interested in him, but I think that he is a perfect replacement for a TJ Slayton prototype kind of body type sort of guy. If you look at his grades starting in 2022, I mean, you talk about a steady Eddie, 13 games, goes from an 80.9, 77.6 to a 79.2. I mean, like, just he allowed about 8-9 sacks in that period of time, a few different hits, decent amount of hurries, predominantly played in the B gap, but did have some A gap pressure as well, or snaps, I should say. And then you look at, he's not going to be a pass rush guy. He's not going to be that type of 3-tech like a Devontae Wyatt. His pass rush grade of 2024 was a 59.8, but where he makes his money is in the run defense. He's got a grade of 88.6 with a run stop rate of 7.8. I think that he would definitely be more. Where do you guys think project him going? Because I don't see the value there in rounds 1 or 2, in my opinion. But I'm just a guy.
Yeah, the latest we've seen him in this little article with that. The latest I've seen is late first, so he's not going to be there. I see some people saying, "Man, 54 would be great." I like what Solder said here. If you could trade back, a guy like Williams makes sense. It's like he's just outside of that 23 range. However, again, that's just what we think, right? Goody may have him in the top 15. I know Greg Cosell absolutely loved him, but Emilio, Tim, what do you think on the surface, man?
Thick.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Tim. I think that you got to go with the pedigree of the the team where he's played. He played at high competition and played through the duration, right? You want someone that's durable, someone that's out there. We have him on the 36th spot on the board with a 57 and 22, 82 and 23, and a 56 and 24. I mean, he's worthy of it. But it's right in that awkward spot, like you said. It'd be either a trade back or a trade up in the second.
Yep.
All right, Tim, that's all you got. He's thick, right? That's it, bro.
Yeah, that was that's my expert analysis right there. No, but I do love the versatility factor with him. I want to watch a little more tape, but I still do. I agree. I think he's a borderline late first, possibly early to mid second round guy.
Another theme that I've noticed too with many of these top 30 visits, none of these guys, I don't want to say none of them, most of them, it seems like they have never transferred either. And I think that means a lot to Goody. Like, hey, these guys stuck with the program as opposed to, let me go chase some money over here. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. But I think Goody's looking for those type of guys that buy into a program, buy into something bigger than them, as opposed to where can I go get my big break type thing. Jay Cole asked a great question. TJ Sanders or Tyleik Williams? According to our board, Tyleik Williams hands down. But if Tyleik Williams goes late first and TJ Sanders is sitting there in the second, that there might be a better chance of us drafting TJ Sanders.
That is a really good question though, Clay, because on our board, they're a 4-spot difference. Tyleik's at 36, TJ's at 40. So really not that far off numbers wise from our board. I think that's a good toss up. It's whoever you like more. They both have a target at this point. We have Tyleik as a DL1, like a 1-tech. We have TJ as a DL3. That would probably be the only difference on the board that I'm seeing.
And when we say 1-tech, it means he played 1-tech in their base defense. Okay. Right. So typically, I tried to identify those guys, the ones that actually played 3-tech in the base and the guys who played 1-tech in the base. When you go to a nickel, all bets are off. These guys they all had more snaps at the 3-tech than they did the 1-tech, if that makes sense. It's because the majority of teams play out of 11 personnel or less, in terms of heavier sets, right? So
I do think between the two of them, though, TJ Sanders is probably the more pure 3-tech between him and Williams. And TJ Sanders, to another note, I love the way the dude plays like near the line of scrimmage. Even if he's not rushing the passer, he's getting his hands up. He's being a problem and a nuisance for quarterbacks, when they're facing him. So it's a tough question to answer, man. I think they're both, pretty close comps for sure.
Yeah. Like what Prince says here. He says it's a swerve. Load up on Ohio State guys on the visit, then bang, draft all Ole Miss. As you guys know, Walter Nolan of all the defensive tackles, that's my dude. Like, that's who I hope we somehow land with the 23rd pick. But it's going to be tough, man, because he is skyrocketing up boards. It's like Greg Cosell started talking about him, and all of a sudden everybody's talking about, man, this dude is a true power rushing 3-tech. So let's climb into the scouting report here on Tyleik Williams. Okay, the Green Bay Packers have reportedly scheduled a top 30 visit with Ohio State defensive tackle Tyleik Williams. By the way, shout out to Easton Butler. Go give him a follow on Twitter at Easton__Butler. Per team sources targeting him as a potential early round gem in the 2025 NFL Draft. Ranked number 36 on our PTA big board, Williams brings a stout 6'2", 334-pound frame with 32-inch arms, offering the Packers a blend of power, explosiveness, and versatility to fortify the defensive line. Look at this dude in high school, boys. Look at this guy right here.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? It showed there was another picture I was going to put in there too. It showed him standing up. I guess he was rushing standing up some of the time in high school, and it showed him standing up, and you could see a back in the backfield, and it just looked like a kindergartner. I was like, oh no, this is not going to end good. So here's a scouting report coming out of high school. He was a 4-star recruit from Unity Reed High School in Manassas, Virginia, in the 2021 class. Tyleik Williams arrived as a physically imposing prospect with a rare athletic ceiling at 6'2", over 350 pounds is what they were saying coming out of high school. I don't know if that was true or not, but that's what the AI pulled. He dominated with a blend of raw strength and surprising agility, excelling as a shot put standout who broke a 19-year school record. All right, so that man could throw a punch, no doubt about it. That's a get off the bus guy right there. His senior tape showcased a disruptive interior presence with quick hands and relentless motor, earning him all state honors, ranked a top 100 national prospect. That's a huge deal there. Williams committed to Ohio State over offers from, listen to these offers. He committed to Ohio State over Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and USC. Pegged as a high upside talent with pro potential. When you look at the PFF grades, man, he's right around where you want him to be. 75.4 in 2021. In 2022, he jumps to an 80.9. In 2023, he took a slight step back, but still scored a 77.6. And then last year, winning the national championship, he scored a 79.2 with a run defense grade of 88.6 elite. You cannot play the run any better than he played it last year. So believe me, I seen it firsthand watching those guys stop Riley Leonard in the national championship. It was like, yeah, Riley, this ain't going to work today, bub. These guys are just too big and too good on Ohio State's defensive front. College statistics. Williams' 4-year run at Ohio State reflects a dominant career capped by a national championship. In 2021, he appeared in 12 games as a reserve, recording 16 tackles, 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 2 batted passes. In 2022, he played in all 13 games, posting 21 tackles, 1 sack, and 2 batted passes. In 2023 breakout, his 2023 breakout saw him play all 13 games, logging a career-high 54 tackles, 5 batted passes, and 3 sacks, earning second-team All-American honors. In 2024, he anchored the Buckeyes' national champion defense across all 13 games, notching 46 tackles, 2.5 sacks, and 1 batted pass. His career totals were 137 tackles, 11.5 sacks, 10 batted passes, and 1 forced fumble across 51 games. What you're seeing is durability, it seems like, and we'll get into the injury concerns in a second. Durability across the board. Obviously, he was the run stopper on that defense, and I love seeing those batted passes, man. You can get in those throwing lanes. It's absolutely huge. So anything you guys want to add to the college statistics there, what sticks out to you maybe?
It'd be interesting to look at that 2021 season and find out what his pass rush win rate was, because I have to imagine it sounds like he went in there for like filler snaps, but even getting 16 tackles and out of 16 tackles, 5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 2 batted passes. That seems pretty productive if he's going in there as a filler guy.
Definitely. All right.
Yeah, the 4 years at Ohio State is also something I love. The fact that he stayed there, was committed, and ended up paying off. Got the trophy in the end.
Definitely.
Yep.
Now, when you look at the RAS here, it's incomplete, but look at the hand size: 10.25 inches, 32-inch arms. Came in at over 6'2.5", 334 pounds. Look at the. You guys remember the 40-yard dash where he busted his keister, he fell down.
Yep.
Well, he was able to get the 20-yard split and the 10-yard split in. His 20-yard split was 2.77, scored him a 9.72. Yep.
I remember we said that day when we saw that. We were like, man, he was moving pretty good up until he stumbled a little.
If you and I, listen, you guys do your own research on this, but just having studied RAS a little bit, for a defensive tackle to have a 9.72 in the 20-yard split, I would say his 40 probably would have been somewhere between 4.7 and 4.9, to be honest with you. And that's crazy for a guy that size. 4.7 seems very unrealistic, but 4.9 is kind of the ceiling there for me. Now, he may slow down as you get on the upper end of that 40-yard dash. However, the 10-yard split was a 1.74, only scoring a 7.56. So he was gaining speed as he took that tumble, which maybe that's the fastest that body's ever ran before. And
I was just going to say, you think he was pushing it a little bit there?
Just a little bit. I love the way he more so then the 20-yard split, the way he reacted to it on Twitter was absolutely awesome. Laughing at himself and just like, man, I'm really, really liking Tyleik Williams.
He was redlining that thing. I mean, it was bouncing off the limiter. I was excited to see it.
That's one of those where you just snip the cord going to the hours on that mower, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We'll just pretend like it still says 275.
Sold as is. As is.
As is. That's right. Well, why doesn't the clock work on? Don't worry about that, sir. This thing runs like a champ. Let me tell you. Detailed scouting report entering the draft at the combine. Williams measured at 6'2", 334 with 32-inch arms. His 40-yard dash was incomplete after a spill, but he clocked a blistering 2.77 20-yard split before the fall, highlighting elite burst for his size. His 2024 tape reveals a disruptive three-tech, and that's what we're talking about in their nickel defense, who resets the line of scrimmage with explosive power, active hands, and a low center of gravity. Perfectly suited for Green Bay's attacking front. He sheds blockers with ease in the run game and flashes pass rush upside with the bull rush and swim move. Though his shorter arms can limit extension against longer linemen, his agility and strength suggest a high ceiling as a 3-down player, projecting him as a late day one pick with early starter potential. I love that picture right there, too. I hate that it's against Notre Dame, but look at that big boy in the air right there. I love him. I'm pretty sure that's Riley Leonard there, too. It looks like it might be his number there on the shoulder. So, yeah, he's definitely athletic. There's no doubt about it, man.
Absolutely. I was just going to read off on the PFF's draft guide. They have a write-up on him. Just give you his strengths and weaknesses real quick. Strengths: compact, powerful stance pre-snap for a strong base, versatile frame to play both nose and three-tech, explosive first step to shoot gaps and generate power, vastly improved hand speed, precision, and purpose in 2024, effective corkscrew technique to hold up against double teams. Weaknesses: tends to pop up too quickly, causing him to lose leverage, struggles to hold ground against combo blocks, needs to develop a deeper arsenal of pass rush moves, and momentum and speed to power conversion fade quickly, is what they have. And they have him as a career pass rush win rate remain below 10%. But, I liked everything in the strength category there. I mean, power, shoot gaps, able to corkscrew doubles. I mean, he's got some techniques to stop the run, absolutely. And, I think, you can work with pass rushes, but we did lose TJ.
Yeah, the big thing.
I was just going to say, tell me this isn't, if you're trying to draft a TJ replacement, this might be your guy right here.
Completely agree, Tim. Completely agree. Let Devontae Wyatt be the pass rushing D tackle, throw him in the one tech, and let him just eat against the run. That's what it kind of feels like. Doug Kirchner says, do you think his numbers are elevated because of the rest of the talent on the Ohio State D line? I kind of feel like some of their numbers are elevated because of him. Like him being in that one tech in the base, he's eating the double teams, right? And then you look at Jack Sawyer and you hear pro scouts talk about Jack Sawyer, and they're like, I don't know what this guy is, kind of a tweener. Is he going to be a stack backer? Can he actually rush in the NFL? So you hear things like that, and then you hear scouts and people like Greg Cosell talk about Tyleik, and they're like, this dude's a monster. So I kind of feel like it's the opposite of that, to be honest with you, Doug. Like if they had another Tyleik Williams in the A gap, playing that one tech in their base and him in the 3 all the time, I feel like his numbers would have been even better. Good luck single blocking this dude, It just seems, and again, Greg Cosell always talks about you can teach finesse moves. You can teach those finesse rushes. You cannot teach power. You've either got it or you don't. And that's the big thing about Walter Nolan is like that power rushing ability is something that is at a premium in the NFL. That's like with Gary. Rashawn Gary took a step back this year, although he's still, again, we just pointed out last night, the Packers were 8th in the league in sacks. Rashawn Gary led the team in sacks. He led the team in pressure percentage other than Brenton Cox Jr., who had, far fewer snaps. But what's the thing about Gary that's slowing him down, in my opinion? What do we see every offseason? Him working on the quick moves, right? Working on the quick moves and this and that. It's like, bro, all he needs to do is throw that hand underneath the breastplate, one arm, that straight arm rush that he does, and just overpower guys.
Yep.
I feel like they've tried to do too much. And then when you read between the lines, who got fired in Green Bay this year?
Yep.
Rebrovich, right? So it's like, I don't know, man. I'd like to see him get back to just a straight power rush.
Ross Tucker talks about that a lot, Clay, right? I mean, you can beat me with you can beat me with a finesse move once or twice, but if you can't beat me with power, I'm gonna have your number. Like
because you're content to just give those 1 or 2 times up per game, right? And then just beat them all day long.
Make sure you're anchored against the power, right? That's exactly what they talk about. So, All right. Look at this. Joseph coming in hot. He says, I personally take Tyleek over Nolan. I like it, man. Good stuff, dude. Good stuff. Let's see. I like this right here, too. Dave's MX6 Garcia says he said he would have ran a 4.849 if he didn't fall.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
I see that's pretty accurate right there with the rate he was going at. So injury and character concerns. Hold on tight here, Jacob. This may turn you off, though. You ready for this?
Oh, boy.
Williams, he said, really? Williams has been a rock, playing 51 games with no significant absences. His combine spill raised eyebrows, but he quickly downplayed it as a cramp similar to Jacob's struggles on the pole at the office. Not a structural concern. A 2022 ankle tweak was his only minor setback, costing him minimal time. Off the field, listen to this. Off the field, he's a coach's dream. Humble, hardworking, and a locker room unifier. A multi-sport athlete in high school, both track and football, Williams carries a spotless reputation with 0 off-field red flags. Sounds like a Green Bay Packer.
Yes.
When you look at the way the projection has worked throughout this whole draft process, this is crazy. We haven't played any football, right? Well, since January 3rd, right? And they end up winning the Natty somewhere in this window here, right? In January. But he has done nothing but sink, right? But when you go to the latest mock drafts, look at where he's at here. Okay. So April 8th, he was mocked by Yahoo, by the Yahoo staff as going number 30 to the Bills. April 8th, FTN Fantasy, Jeff Ratcliffe mocked him number 19 to the Buccaneers. Fox Sports Rob Rang on April 8th mocked him 30 to the Bills. College Football Network, Logan Lazar, I ain't even going to try to say it. Logan over there at the College Football Network, he had him going number 30 to the Bills. Football Nick had him going 27 to the Ravens. NFL Spin Zone had him going 28 to the Lions. So this is a dude that just because our board shows him in the 36th spot doesn't necessarily mean we're right. That's just, you guys know how our board shakes out, right? We're not going to change it. If he's there at 23 and people truly do have it, like you see here, he went to Arizona 16th. That was April 2nd, 16th. If Goody has a grade on him similar to that range, they'll take him at 23, no problem. So this question is there going to be a better defensive tackle on the board when he is taken. So draft projection, Tyleek Williams profiles as a late first-round prospect in the 2025 NFL Draft, backed by his number 36 ranking on a PTA big board. His speed off the line and proven production make him an instant impact candidate for the Packers, who could target him late in round 1 to pair with their young core. His ceiling as a disruptive starter hinges on refining his pass rush arsenal, while his floor as a run-stuffing rotational piece aligns with Green Bay's history of developing linemen like Kenny Clark, a high-upside talent whose combine buzz and tape make him a name to watch as the draft nears. So any final thoughts here on Tyleek Williams, gentlemen?
I think he's definitely going to be climbing up people's radar. He does seem like that type of pick where everybody would they'd announce the pick, everybody turns around, they're like, why, who, what? And then all of a sudden you dive into him and you figure out, okay, guy's kind of a monster, kind of fits a lot of positions of need. Like you said, the off the field lack of issues, and it sounds like he's just absolutely a gem to work with if you're a coach. The fact that he seems like he likes to play football, he wants to play football. The need of him filling in for that Slayton pick, it does look like a pretty intriguing option if you're Goody there at 23. I'd love it even better if we still had a way to trade back. If he's still available, I feel a lot better about that pickup for sure. And the fact that he seems like he doesn't miss a lot of time, also very intriguing.
Yeah. What do you boys think? Anything else on Tyleek before we move on to the next one here?
I mean, looking at those other mocks, I mean, he could just as easily be a Buffalo Bill too, right? I mean, they're kind of almost, a lot of times I look at the Bills, man, and they're kind of like the Packers of the AFC sometimes when you look at them and kind of their trajectory that they've been on, these past like 8 to 10 seasons really. And he looks like he would fit the mold there as well. So I agree with that thought process that, it's not unheard of for Goody to go get his guy, whether we think he's, reaching or not is irrelevant. He's not going to care. So if Tyleek is on the board at 23, I could see Goody pulling the trigger if he's that high on him.
Yeah. All right. Prince in the chat said Buckets tossing strays at Rusty. Yes, he is, man. Buckets is getting smarter by the day. And I know someone in here who was at home said, who is Buckets? That's Buckets Goldenberg, man. That's the guy writing these articles for us.
Buckets Goldenberg, senior reporter, Packers Total Access.
It's gonna get worse though. Like Fred said, he's learning, and by the draft, he will be fully sentient.
Yeah. I didn't know what that word meant, so I was going to let you read it.
Yeah. Until the family finds out Bucket's been grinding away on these guys.
Yeah. Now, if you guys don't know who Buckets Goldenberg is, listen, I didn't either. Tim used him as a countdown when there was 44 days until the draft. And I'm like, who is this guy? And I dug in. I'm like, this dude is a freaking Packers legend that I had never heard of. So we just started making the pen name for our articles, Buckets Goldenberg. So we may have to change that up soon as the channel continues to grow, which, by the way, we cracked 135,000 views in the last 28 days. So,
Jeez.
That's a testament to the guys here putting in the work, and obviously everybody watching the show, listening to the show, hitting that like button for us, helping share it, all that good stuff. You guys are awesome for that. So, all right, moving along here. I did want to hit this. Joseph said, if Pierce and Barron are gone at 23, I'm looking to trade back to pick up another third-round pick while still getting Amos or Azare Thomas in late 1 or early 2. That's not a bad plan there. Not a bad plan at all. There's so many prospects in this draft, guys, that we've covered that I like, that I'm just like, man, I'd be okay with just about any of these dudes, especially in the first 3 rounds. You can find something to like all throughout that. Now, we know Goody will pop up in round 3 and draft somebody. We got a 5th rank grade on him. We'll be like, who the hell is this guy? And then all of a sudden he'll ball out next year. So that's the way that works. But all right, moving along onto the next top 30 visit. Let's move on to offensive tackle, because when we get through with the cornerback, we're going to highlight. We're going to dive into the cornerback room, I think would be cool. So we had Cincinnati offensive tackle John Williams scheduled for a top 30 visit. All right. Now, this is one of those lower round guys, it seems. Green Bay Packers have reportedly scheduled a top 30 visit with Cincinnati offensive tackle John Williams, per team sources, and Easton Butler, targeting him as a potential mid to late round pick in the 2025 NFL draft, ranked number 289 on our PTA big board. Williams brings a robust 6'4", 322-pound frame with 11-inch hands and 33.88-inch arms. That's some long arms on that tackle right there, offering the Packers a blend of size, strength, and reach to bolster their offensive line depth and future-proof their tackle core. Scouting report coming out of high school. Look at this dude when he signed with Cincinnati. That was the first photo shoot he did. I like the visor, by the way. A 3-star recruit from Bolingbrook High School in Bolingbrook, Illinois, in the 2020 class. John Williams arrives as a raw but physically imposing prospect, 6'4", 290. He dominated as a left tackle, showcasing a strong initial punch and wide base that overwhelmed defenders. His senior tape highlighted a powerful run-blocking presence and decent mobility for his size, earning him all-conference honors. Ranked number 32 among Illinois prospects by On3, Williams committed to Cincinnati over offers from Ball State, Northern Illinois, and Western Michigan, viewed as a developmental talent with pro upside. All right, it says college statistics. Williams' 5-year run at Cincinnati shows a gradual ascent to a starting role. In 2020, he played 4 games at right tackle, logging limited snaps as a true freshman. In 2021, he appeared in 6 games, mostly at left tackle, with a mix of reserve and spot start duty. By 2022, he played in 5 games, all at left tackle, refining his skills in a backup role. In 2023, breakout saw him play in 12 games, becoming the starting left tackle for all 12. And then in 2024, he started all 12 games at left tackle, earning all ACC honorable mention. His career totals 27 starts, 39 games, and a proven track record at left tackle. So you get a little bit of versatility there. And when you look at the PFF grade, man, it started off rocky. In 2020, 53.2, then he fell to a 42.8, then he jumps back to a 52.7. Then he kind of breaks out here in 2023 with a 69.2. And in 2024, he has his best year, 75.3, with a pass block grade of 86.3. What do you guys, let's go around the horn there real quick with what we've learned so far about John Williams.
Do you have his RAS measurements, Clayton?
We do, yeah.
That 38-inch arm, that sounds... I looked him up on Draft Buzz, and they have him at about just under 34. I was just wondering.
Yeah, no, it's 30. Not 38. That's an orangutan. We got this is 33.88 is what you got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What I was trying to get there is almost 34-inch arms. You're like 33 3/4.
I mean, but look at the hand size. I mean, the guy just, if he gets his paws on you, I have to feel like you're in trouble. I really do like what I saw, especially the later years in his PFF grades. A lot of snaps at left tackle, almost a true left tackle. Zone grade was okay, 65.2. Run block grade, okay at 65.7, but a pass block grade of 86.3. I like that quite a bit. And he doesn't really have bad games. He has just basically average to slightly above average games, which I'll take that.
Yeah, the bench reps is what gets me excited too, Emilio. 29 bench reps, scoring a 905 there.
With the long arms, that's big. I mean, because you got a longer distance to travel, 225. You're throwing it around over there. Weight came in at weight, ran good numbers at 322. That makes me happy. In the shuttle, being able to get down, get over. Those aren't bad numbers from the guy with the hand size of 11 inches. I mean,
Definitely. And when you look at the detailed scouting report here, it says at the combine, he measured in at 6'4", 322 with 11-inch hands, like Jacob was saying, and 33.88-inch arms, pairing his massive paws in length with an impressive 29 bench reps, showcasing NFL-ready strength. His 2024 tape highlights a powerful run blocker who excels in the Packers' outside zone scheme, using his size to displace defenders and his hands to latch and steer. In pass protection, he's a steady anchor with good arm extension to keep rushers at bay, though his foot speed can lag against quicker edges. His athletic testing was incomplete, but his on-field play suggests a day 3 pick with swing tackle potential and guard versatility. Could you imagine him at guard too, man? That seems like with those kind of arms, boy, I'm telling you, that's solid. And then when you look at what's happened to him across this whole process, at the end of the college football season, he was just inside the top 200, right? And by February 12th, he just sinks all the way out of sight. Like he's down around 386. Then he magically, I guess that's around the combine, maybe when they measured in. I can't remember what date the combine was in, but he jumps all the way back up to somewhere around what appears to be like, I don't know, 225-ish, something in there. Dips back down again and then settles in at 250. When you look at the recent mock drafts here, Tim, here's what we got, man. And you got to kind of comb through there because they don't have them in perfect order. But back in February, on February 20th, he was seen as a 5th-round pick, according to Pro Football Focus in that mock draft that Josh did. November 20th, you go back a little bit further, he was a 3rd-round pick. And then here lately, ESPN, Sporting News, Pro Football Focus, Sports Talk, all those guys had him anywhere from 185 to 193. So I think what you're looking at here, I think that 3rd rounder is so far removed. He's probably closer to like a 5th or a 6th, maybe the undrafted talent. Tim, how do you feel about this dude, man? John Williams.
I mean, just looking at him, he looks like a guy that's kind of just really hitting his stride. I think you look at the change from 23 to 24 in his game and the progress that he's made. I mean, you got to think, even though he'll be 24 in his rookie year, big deal. This guy's playing on the line. He can block, right, Emilio? He can block.
yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me that they had him mocked to Kansas City early on. Late last year there. Makes a whole lot of sense the way they invest in their O-line over there. So I think he could be a potential, top 200 pick for sure, depending on where you have him right now.
Yeah. I think, what were you going to say, Jacob?
Nothing. He's a freaking genius too. Apparently he's studying like aerodynamic engineering. So he's got the brains.
Got the Dobbs thing there going.
Yeah.
I like that. But honestly, when I was listening to DJ and Buck, they were talking about, when you get a prospect that's maybe a 4th or 5th rounder, instead of putting that 4th or 5th round tag on him, what can he be? Is he going to be a backup? Is he going to be a backup that can start? Does he have starter potential? Is he just going to be a developmental guy? Is he a developmental guy with high upside? Those sort of things that I think that you could look at: hand size, arm length, still being able to put up that kind of weight. We get him in the gym. That's a upside Packer kind of guy, that a typical pick that we would see, right? Somebody that's a freak athlete that we can, hone him in a little bit more.
Yeah. So here's the draft projection. John Williams profiles as a 4th to 5th round prospect in the 2025 NFL draft, backed by his number 289 spot on our PTA big board. His size, strength, and 27 starts making him intriguing developmental fit for the Packers who could snag him in the mid-rounds to groom behind starters like Rasheed Walker or Zach Tom. His ceiling as a potential starter hinges on refining his footwork, while his floor as a versatile backup aligns with Green Bay's track record of molding linemen into contributors, a sleeper with upside as draft season heats up. So it seems like one of the common threads here, the common themes with Goody in this whole draft process, he's looking at several offensive tackles really late in the draft. They kind of feel like, hey, let's find that next Rasheed Walker, throw him on the bench for a year or two, and then all of a sudden, bang, pop him into the lineup. And if you don't have anything there, what do you have to lose, right? You just cut bait. There's no dead cap attached, or very, very minimal anyway, and you're good to go. So I'm excited to see where John Williams goes here, man. Again, I don't see him going in third like that early mock had, but if he's hanging around round 5 or 6, even though we've got him on the 289 spot on our board, I think there's enough there that Goody sees something and goes, hey, the physical traits are just too good to pass up on there. Again, you can coach a lot of things. You can't coach size. You can't coach that 33, almost 34-inch arms like Emilio said with scoring over a 9 in your bench press reps. I mean, that's just crazy, absolutely crazy. So, anything else on John Williams before we move forward, gents?
Just what Fred said, -3 on Excelio's board due to Glover's threat to roster spot. I think that's a very fair point.
There you go. All right, Coach Lynn has a question. Do you think we take an O-line in the first 3 rounds? Man, that's a great question. I see people saying if we take an offensive tackle in the first round, they're going to burn Twitter to the ground. Take an offensive tackle in the first round, it means stud. That's the way I see it. Goody knows how to draft offensive linemen. And I'm just still amazed at how many people have given up on Jordan Morgan. It's just like the dude was hurt coming out of camp, tried to battle through it, re-hurt that shoulder throughout the season. He was basically splitting starter reps as a rookie with Sean Ryan, who took a pretty big step forward, in my opinion, this year. Like, I don't understand the hate for Jordan Morgan. But it's amazing how some of those same people, they're acting like Jordan Morgan's a bust because he was hurt, but they're also saying that Jacob Monk should start at center. And I'm like,
what?
He was the third string center. Like, when our center went down, they didn't even trust to put him in as the backup center.
Right.
But we're sold on him without seeing anything. And here Jordan Morgan was essentially taking that right guard spot away from Sean Ryan for the most part. It's just that really boggles my mind, man. Coach Lynn says Morgan sure looks the part to me. So, yeah, that's kind of how I seen him too, man. I never once did I see him on the field and go, man, Jordan Morgan, it's going to be a while. It always felt like he kind of held his own. So let's see. Joseph asks, where does the PTA board have Charles Grant? Does anyone remember? Do you have that pulled up by chance, Emilio? Or no?
68. We have Charles Grant, Senior Bowl and a captain with a PFF 22, 32, 23, 42, and 24 is 8. PFF Big Board 81 and consensus 104.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. And then Drew D asks a cornerback question here. Where do we have Jordan Hancock at Ohio State? I think he's underrated. Do we have him on the board?
We have him 255. We have him as a cornerback versatile. 23 was 291, 24 130. PFF Big Board 208, consensus 175.
Gotcha. So everything across the board kind of agreeing there with where we got it. Essentially.
Right.
So, got it. Good stuff, man. All right. Let's see what else we got in here. Holmes said, what about Monk? Right on cue. That wasn't even a shot at Holmes earlier either. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that are sold on Monk, and I'm like, I know the Packers were excited about him, and I hope he pans out. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know what tape we're looking at to go, yep, Monk's the guy. I could be wrong, though. Let's see. Monster Aggressor says Jordan Morgan going to be a monster. Hey, you bet, Drew. You're welcome, pal. You're welcome. All right. Anything else you boys want to hit on before we get into the next prospect? We're going to wrap up hour 1 here in a second. If you got anything on the forefront of your mind, or if you got anything else starred there, Jacob, you want to hit them before we kick off hour 2?
No, just I think I was surprised or highlighted Judy's comment about that Jordan Hancock, I believe is his name, because Ryan brought him up. I believe it was like one of Bob McGinn's things where all of a sudden it was like the number 7th cornerback on his list of like the top 7 corners, and it was completely nobody else had him in the top 10. And when you look up Jordan Hancock's measurables, he is kind of intriguing. 6 foot, 195, arm length could be a little better, but it's braced about 31 inches. But he has a 40 of 4.42 and almost a 42-inch vert. Really good broad jump. I mean, playing at Ohio State with that type of competition, it might be a guy that we haven't put a lot of thought into that could be a really good steal late round DB for us.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, we'll see how it all shakes out. Cheesehead Murph in the house. Good to see you in here, buddy. He says, hit that like button for show. Go Pack, go. Hope everyone's doing well. Good to see you, Murph. Good to see you, man. I know we got all of our diehard regulars in season kind of swing back through occasionally and say what's up. But, yeah, if you guys want to support the channel, it costs $0. Just hit that like button for us. Make sure you sub to the channel. We greatly appreciate it. It's amazing how much it helps with the algorithm. It helps other people find us. Every time you hit that like button, it signals to YouTube, hey, more people need to know about this channel is basically what it comes down to. So you may think, oh, my one like doesn't matter. It really does. And, of course, the best way to support what we're doing here at PTA is to be a member of our Patreon group for $3 a month. Scan the QR code in the upper right. You get access to everything on the site. All these write-ups that we're covering, that's in there. We're going to shift focus as soon as the draft's over. We're going to be doing some exclusive Chalk Talks on the guys that we draft, and we'll make sure that those are uploaded as well as the Chalk Talks from last season. You'll have all that access right there at your fingertips in our Patreon group. I've gotten really good feedback from the Patreon group. They're like, dude,
Right.
this is really, I mean, it's a lot of info. It really is. And
like I said, for one trip to Chick-fil-A, you could pay that thing off for the whole year, be done. I mean, under $40 and you're out the door. We're cooking. So I mean,
and I'm just going to say this: every time Emilio mentions that, I'm going to say I will always choose Chick-fil-A over this show. Everybody says, man, spicy chicken, I'm good. You know what I mean?
cheat code, just go in there and just ask for the spicy fillets. They come right in the little baggies, you know, and you just slam the fillet itself. You don't need all those carbs, just protein.
Dude, I've still never had Chick-fil-A. You guys
Oh
know
my
that?
What?
There's none near me.
Is there a Chick-fil-A in your hometown at
No.
all, Jacob? Nowhere.
Is there a Chick-fil-A in the Minnesota area border?
Like 20 minutes away.
All right, we'll have them Uber it to your house. We'll figure this out after we get
Y'all
off.
soggy. Anyways. Oh.
AFAM says Chick-fil-A's way too expensive, and he said they are over friendly.
It's my pleasure, AFAM, is what it is.
I just imagine.
AFAM likes a little attitude with his chicken, you know?
Yeah. Goes in there like that. Why ain't they rude?
AFAM goes to Popeyes, and he likes the
Plenty of
pickle.
attitude there for sure.
Love that chicken from
Pickle
Popeyes. But
Mhm.
by the way, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes sponsor the show. That's going to do it for hour one. For those of you listening on 5, we'll see you on the other side for hour 2. We're going to break down Jason Marshall out of Florida. And then if we have time, we're going to dive into the cornerback room. So we'll see y'all over here in just a second. Appreciate y'all.
For those of you listening on the pod,
Welcome into hour 2. Let's get into it. We got Jason Marshall out of Florida. I'm not going to lie, boys. I went, who? Just like Snoop when I seen this name. And when you look at where he's at on our board, he's extremely low. When you look at the mock drafts, he's extremely low. By the time we get through going through this profile and just the type of player he was coming out of high school, I think you guys are going to be intrigued. I know I was. I got really excited after reading this whole profile. So here we go. They scheduled a top 30 visit with Florida cornerback Jason Marshall per team sources, eyeing him as a potential late-round steal in the 2025 NFL Draft, ranked 332 on our PTA big board. Do you have him pulled up right now, Emilio, by chance?
Yes, I would just real quick had him stacked up in the corner just by position. So just bringing back to Jordan Hancock, Jacob, to your point, right next to him, Mac McWilliams. We Packers met with him. Jason Marshall's about 10 corners down in our numbers, but that puts him in front of like Fentrell Cypress, Cam Stone, those kind of guys. Now we have him. Let's see, Jason Marshall here is at 3, like you said, 332, 537 for 22, 446 for 23, 336 for 24, PFF Big Board 182, consensus 182.
Gotcha. So they're seeing him as a top 200 pick, as where we're seeing him in the 332 spot because the PFF grades.
PFF grades. I mean, obviously they're getting better each year, but we haven't broken the top 350 corners. We gotta.
Yeah, and when you see the grade, you'll probably go, "Oh, that's not that bad," because it's not. But I just like to know, out of all the cornerbacks in all of college football, here's where this person ranked. I really like to have that at my disposal there. So it goes on to say, Marshall brings a lean 6 foot, 194-pound frame that meets the threshold, obviously. 30.25-inch arms, offering the Packers a mix of speed, ball skills, and developmental upside to deepen their secondary. All right, this is him in high school, like a man bear out there. 5-star recruit. I repeat, a 5-star recruit out of Palmetto High School in Miami, Florida. In the 2021 class, Jason Marshall arrived as an elite defensive back prospect with a 96.88 grade from On3. So for those of you who don't know, On3 is an excellent high school recruiting site. They take all of the major sites and come up with what they call an On3 industry grade. It's the best you can get is 100. He was a 96.88. At 6 foot and 175 pounds, he flashed fluid hips, quick twitch agility, and a fearless approach in coverage, doubling as a track star with a 10.6 second 100-meter dash. His senior tape showcased sticky man coverage skills and a playmaker's nose for the ball, earning him all-state honors, ranked number 5 among Florida prospects. For those of you who don't know, Florida is like a huge pipeline of college prospects. Florida, Georgia, now North Carolina starting to pick up some steam. Obviously, Texas has always been a powerhouse, but Florida is like that. You want elite athletes, that's where you go recruit at. It's one of the reasons why the SEC was so strong before the NIL era. Now that the NIL era has hit, some of these northern teams are really dipping into Florida and grabbing those prospects, and I don't blame them one bit. So number 5 ranked in Florida is a big deal there. Marshall chose Florida over, listen to these schools that he got offered. He chose Florida over Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, and LSU, heralded as a top-tier talent with NFL potential. When you look at the PFF grades here in Florida, starting in 2021, 71.1, then a 65.9, 68.6, and back up to a 71.2. When you look at the snaps, he's pretty much an outside corner, 402 snaps out wide last year, 21 in the slot, 20 in the box as well. So he's definitely more of an outside corner when it comes to that. His coverage grade, 72.1, with a run defense grade of 68.4, which is really interesting. So what do you guys think about him on the surface before we dive deeper into the scouting report here?
I mean, I like him. I was just looking at some of his other measurables. Draft Buzz is talking about some of his strengths. It's the prototypical size and length for an NFL boundary cornerback, allowing him to match up with bigger receivers on the outside. It says he excels in press man coverage, using his long arms and strong hands to disrupt receivers. I think what's even more telling is when you go to his list of quote unquote weaknesses, there's only 4. One of them says occasionally relies too heavily on his physical tools, leading to grabby play and potential penalties when beaten vertically. Once it can be inconsistent in run support, sometimes taking poor angles and failing to disengage from blocks effectively. Another is improving his tackling technique and consistency, and then may struggle initially against NFL caliber route runners. And that's his 4 weaknesses. I think that most of those weaknesses are understandable for even the position of cornerback, and one for a young cornerback. And I think that they're all traits that he can work on. And if he were to make those weaknesses into even being, break even type stuff, let alone maybe even a strength in a game, maybe future in his game, he could be an absolute hidden gem. And you look at the level of competition he went against, it's very intriguing.
Yeah. I think this could be like Kalen King all over again. If you're looking for a late round corner to add in the draft, 6th or 7th round, this is probably one of your guys that'll probably be there for sure. Add some value.
Exactly what I was going to say, Tim. Take a flyer on a dude that was a top potential coming out of high school, thinking, traits at that point. Like we talked about earlier, going 6th, 7th round in the draft. What is it? You're basically just projecting. You're just picking up traits, saying, hey, do I think that we can shape him into anything? Do we think he can become something, and go for it?
Yep. Especially with Jair being up in the air too. You want to get some depth on the outside for sure.
You never know.
Yeah. Monster Aggressor UFO says, I love Jason. I've been watching him since he got to Florida. CJ Henderson and him was one of the best corner duos before CJ Henderson got drafted. So there you go. I love the fact that he chose Florida too, because could have got a lot more notoriety going to like Alabama, seeing that Florida's program's been down here recently. Yeah, that's it's very, very interesting to see someone kind of stick with the same school throughout those years as well. Because this is the other thing too. It's got to be in the back of your mind whenever you look up, and these are the other offers you got: Bama, Ohio State, Georgia, and LSU. When that program in Florida started to struggle like they have recently, in the back of the prospect's mind, they got to be thinking, I'm going to call up Bama. I wonder if Bama's still interested. I wonder if Ohio State's still interested. I wonder if Georgia's still interested. He didn't do that. He stayed pat, stayed right there in Florida. I respect the hell out of that, man. Like wanting to turn a program around. I think that's
kind of a rare occurrence nowadays, for sure.
It really is, man. All right, college statistics. Marshall's 4-year run at Florida highlights a productive career cut short by injury. In 2021, he appeared in all 13 games as a reserve, recording 23 tackles, 1 interception, and 3 pass breakups. In 2022, he played in all 13 games with 4 starts, posting 29 tackles, 8 pass breakups, and 1 interception. His 2023 season saw him start all 12 games, tallying 26 tackles, 11 pass breakups, and 1 sack. In 2024, he started all 7 games he played, notching 20 tackles, 4 pass breakups, and 1 forced fumble before a shoulder injury in Week 8 win over Kentucky sidelined him for the season's second half. Career totals: 23 starts, 98 tackles, 2 interceptions, 26 pass breakups, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble across 45 games. Look at the RAS, though, Jensen. 6 foot, 194. He came in at a 9.42 RAS score. His vertical jump, 37.5 inches, scoring an 8.11. Broad jump at 10.05, scoring an 8.11. His 40-yard dash, some had reported a 4.46 and a 4.47. The official combine, or RAS card, I should say, is a 4.49. 20-yard split, a 2.60. But look at the burst at 10-yard split, 1.54, scoring an 8.32. So the RAS checks out real nice. The arm length, 30.25 inches. Hand size, 9.25 inches when it comes to the RAS card. So interesting prospect for sure. At the combine, Marshall checked in at 6 foot, 194 with 30.25 inch arms, clocking a 4.49 40-yard dash and a 37.5 inch vert. Solid marks for a corner. His 2024 tape, though limited, reveals a press man specialist who uses his reach to disrupt receivers at the line and his speed to mirror downfield, fitting Green Bay's aggressive secondary scheme. He's got a quick trigger to jump routes with soft hands and a knack for breaking up passes, though his lighter frame and shorter arms can leave him vulnerable against bigger physical receivers. No shuttle was recorded, but his on-field agility suggests lateral quickness, projecting him as a day 3 pick with nickel or outside corner versatility. And you see, man, he's not scared to put his shoulder in there and tackle. That's against those Georgia Bulldogs with that pick there. It says injury and character concerns. Marshall's durability took a hit in 2024 with a shoulder injury sustained against Kentucky in Week 8. Ended his season after 7 games, raising questions about his recovery timeline. Prior to that, he showed resilience outside a minor hamstring tweak in 2022 that cost him 1 game. He'd been a fixture, playing 45 career games. The late 2024 ankle ding referred earlier was a misreport. So evidently that wasn't even true. The shoulder issue was the true culprit. Yeah, the shoulder issue was the true culprit. Off the field, he's a quiet leader, coachable, team first, and respected for his grind. A multi-sport athlete, track and basketball. Marshall's competitive streak remains clean with no off-field red flags. You're seeing a theme here with the no off-field stuff with Green Bay, right? Pretty cool. Draft projection. Jason Marshall slots as a round 5 to 6 prospect in the draft, backed by his number 332 ranking on our PTA big board. His speed and 23 starts make him a developmental gem for the Packers, who could target him with their late round picks. His ceiling is a rotational corner or nickel, hinges on adding strength, overcoming his shorter reach, and proving his shoulder is fully healed. While his floor as a special teams contributor fits Green Bay's history of polishing raw defensive backs like Rasul Douglas, a sleeper whose stock may hinge on pre-draft medicals as the draft nears. So, final thoughts on Jason Marshall here out of Florida, boys?
Again, I hate to keep bringing up Ja, but you talk about corners that had no problem sticking their shoulder in there until they had a shoulder injury, and things change. You know, shoulder injuries are tough on DBs. Kind of changes their approach. Sometimes it's for the better. It makes them play better with their feet and, beat the man of the spot rather than having to fly in and, shoot the gap and stuff like that. So I just there's a little bit of hesitancy there on my part. I know 6th or 7th round flyer, but there's no telling, what he's going to look like when he hits an NFL practice field, as far as the shoulder injury and stuff. So I don't know, keep a pin in it,
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jacob.
I mean, Fred's talking about Sam Shields 2.0. I mean, that'd be a pleasant surprise if that's the case. With Joseph, I think, like Tim just highlighted, my biggest concern would be the injury situation. He's been pretty durable up until this point and showed, like Bucket said, that he can play through injury and has done it before. It's just the shoulder injury, like Tim just said. I love the fact that Jair was willing to go in there, throw his head down, throw the shoulder in, make those meat missile type attacks, but that was all fun and games until it wasn't. And then the complete trajectory of Jair's career in Green Bay was halted by that one I don't want to say over aggressive, but looking back now, a seemingly maybe unimportant play that he threw his head in there. It's a fine line to walk when you're playing at that position for sure.
Yep.
All I was going to ask was, is this deserving of a box in 24? Red box on the board.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
It sounds like it could potentially affect his draft position, right?
I mean, the fact that he didn't make it back at all the rest of the season.
Did he do the bench? Did he do
No,
the bench? He did
didn't.
not.
I think you got to put that on the board.
Yeah, put the red box on the board for $24 million. And what he's talking about, guys, if you aren't in the Patreon group, which, by the way, if you're in the Patreon group, you've got access to our updated board. We're updating it as often as we can. We're giving you guys the updated link.
I just put one out there this morning.
Yeah, thank you for that, Emilio. So when you see the red boxes under that year with the PFF ranking at their position, what that's saying is, hey, injury here, okay? Had an injury. And that could be, you see one in 23 and the score is a little lower, and you go, okay, well, he was playing hurt probably. If he bounced back in 24, all right, we feel good about it. There's no red box there. If you have a red box in 24, that's suggesting, hey, might be some lingering injury issue there. Now, once we get confirmation, no, they're fully healthy, they're good to go, we'll pull that red box. But we're just a couple weeks away from the draft. There's probably not going to be much changing in that regard. So thank you for doing that, Emilio. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move it along, boys. So again, keep an eye out for Jason Marshall. I don't know, did you guys get the same feeling as me? Like going in, seeing where he was at on our board, seeing the PFF rankings and stuff. It's like, man, this guy, what are we doing? And then when you read 5-star recruit in the state of Florida, and the dude decided to stay at Florida where that program struggled, it's like, I don't know, man. There might be something there. Somebody said it in the chat. I can't remember who it was. Said Sam Shields 2.0. I'm not going to lie, man. That was the same exact person I thought of. Was it Fred? Yeah, Fred McFarley. Yeah, that's the same person I thought. I was like, this kind of sounds like Sam Shields. Now, Sam Shields was a lot faster. I want to say like 4.3-ish. I could be wrong there. But it just seems like one of those dudes that's an athletic freak real late in the draft, all of a sudden on the practice squad or kind of playing that backup role for a little bit, and then bang, he contributes to a championship run for sure. So, all right, there you go, Jason Marshall. Out of
what
Florida.
about real quick? Itchy Soder asks an interesting question. Jamari Harris, I believe, out of Iowa, or Mr. Marshall that we just covered. Where do y'all have Jamari Harris on the PTA big board?
Jamari Harris is 137 on the board. East-West Shrine Bowl, he fits the measurables. 22, we had him at 224, 23, 367. 24, he was 35th. PFF did not actually have him on the big board. And consensus had him 174.
Yeah, so we've got him significantly higher. Jamari Harris significantly higher. Yeah, I like those Iowa kids too. I don't know about you guys, man, but they know how to coach up defense over there. So I will be totally on board with Jamari Harris at the right pick for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this. Is this true? Holmes said Shields was 6'2". I know he was really, really fast, but I didn't know he was 6'2". That's wild. If that's true, let me go to the RAS. It'll take it a minute to load, so we'll just keep talking here. But anybody else you want to see on the board here while we got it pulled up before we move on to the cornerback room? Anybody at all you guys can think of? And I tell you what we could do, since we've been doing this here lately, since nobody has anybody, let's look at the latest targets on the board. As it's filling up, ain't it, Emilio?
Quickly. We were just at 14 last night, 16 tonight. I mean, by middle of next week, I'd say we're capped at our 30.
Yeah. Read them off to them real quick while I try to get this RAS. So I got to know about
Not a problem. So from top of the board going down for us at 12, James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. At 15, Shamar Stewart, edge, Texas A&M. 20th, wide receiver Mecca Ibuka, Ohio State. 22nd, Mikael Williams, edge, Georgia. 24, offensive tackle Josh Simmons, Ohio State. 26, Siobhan Ravel. I said that wrong. Ravel, corner, East Carolina. 36.
It's tough, ain't it, Emilio? It's tough to remember all this stuff.
Yeah.
On the spot.
36, Tyleek Williams, D-line, Ohio State. 37, wide receiver Matthew Golden, Texas. 40, D-line TJ Sanders, South Carolina. 112, inside O-lineman Jacob Bayer. We have him as center from Arkansas State. Nice unis, cool stadium in college football. 126, wide receiver Isaiah Bond from Texas. 145, Anthony Belton, tackle out of NC State. 242, Dalton Cooper, tackle out of Oklahoma State. 289, John Williams, tackle out of Cincinnati. And 332, Jason Marshall, cornerback out of Florida. And 356, Esapol, tackle out of Washington State.
Thick.
There you go. So again, the big thing that sticks out there to me is you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys that are kind of within striking distance of 23, all the way down to Tyleek Williams. That's the big. Now you could say Tyleek's a bit of a reach at 23. I can understand that. Savone Rebel is one of those dudes that, in my opinion, I'm on board. You see the red box there, but everybody's saying this dude is on track. He's going to be just fine. What was it we said? Clocked at 21 mile an hour on the treadmill or something crazy. So he's and hearing his coaches, his teammates talk about his leadership is just like sold me on him. And hearing Greg Cosell say he's the best press man corner in this entire draft as well. Not that we want to play press, but if you ever have to scheme up one random Sunday, all right, guys, we're going to go out here and play press man and really jam him at the line of scrimmage. He's a dude that's got that in his bag for sure. So in terms of Sam Shields, I'm going to drop this down real quick and actually pull the RAS card. I like looking back at old RAS cards, man. This is really cool. So Sam Shields actually measured in at 5'10" was his height. So he wasn't 6'2". He was 5'10", 184 pounds. Pretty wild. He had 15 bench reps though to be that small. And his 40-yard dash officially on the RAS card was 4.30. There were some reports that it was in the 4.2s, and that may have, maybe there was some validity to that. I like that Math Bomb kind of goes with, hey, here's what all the major people were saying in the draft community, that the actual time was this, as opposed to, what it may or may not have been. But the broad jump too, man, that was the big thing, was his vert and his broad jump. His broad jump 11.01 is crazy, man. So,
yeah.
Yep. All righty. So there you go. Again, 5'10.5" was the height on the official RAS card for Sam Shields. Since we're talking corner here, y'all want to dive into the cornerback room real quick? Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So I thought it was kind of fitting, seeing that we've had a couple cornerbacks that we're looking to potentially draft here. I just thought, hey, let's walk through the cornerback room pre-draft and see what we've got here. So as we take a deep dive on it here on April 7th is when I wrote the article a couple of days ago. I'm sorry, Bucket Skolbenberg did. The Packers have assembled a mix of established talent, emerging young players, and untested depth at the cornerback position, which has been a focal point after a 2024 season where their pass defense ranked 11th in the NFL, allowing 6.4 yards per pass attempt. I repeat, we had the 11th best passing defense in terms of yards per pass attempt, and I feel like that's the most important metric to measure how good a passing defense is, in my opinion. With new defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley's aggressive scheme emphasizing cover 2 zone variations with simulated pressures, the cornerbacks faced ups and downs but showed promise. Here's a breakdown of the key players, their roles, strengths, challenges, and the overall state of the room based on the latest information, including their 2024 PFF grades. So we got them ranked in the order of PFF grades here. Number 1 on the list is Jair Alexander, 75.2. His role, number 1 quarterback lockdown defender on the outside. His 2024 performance, if he returns to Green Bay, Alexander remains the cornerstone of the Packers secondary, sometimes tasked with the shadowing top receivers. In 2024, he logged 10 starts, 3 interceptions, and 8 pass breakups, though injuries limited him to under 70% of the defensive snaps. His PFF grade reflects his elite play when healthy. His strengths, exceptional agility, ball skills, and confidence in man coverage. He's a 2-time All-Pro in 2018 and 2022 and consistently disrupts passing games. Challenges, durability remains a concern. Hamstring and knee issues sideline him for chunks of 23 and 24. His fiery personality also led to a 1-game suspension in 23, though he's been a leader since. Contract status, signed through 2026 on a 4-year, $84 million extension with a potential out in 2026 with trade rumors swirling all off-season, boys.
Took it down the sideline, turned over my guys, gave the football to a little kid wearing 23.
So what do we obviously Jair was hands down the best corner in the room. There's no denying that, right? Anything you guys want to add to that? Maybe something I missed. Again, 75.2 is even a little low for Ja, but still the best corner in the room last year.
Still the best corner in the room, still on this team if nothing happens.
Still working out in the offseason with Xavier McKinney, you know?
Yeah. And also reaching out to Nate Hobbs and saying, hey, man, welcome to the squad type thing.
Yep.
It's,
Yep. Sounds like a team player to me.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like he might be back. I don't know, man. We may pop up on draft night and he get traded. I'm not ruling it out, but I'm tired of putting percentages on it because I keep going back and forth, man. I can't figure it out. So too old for this. Says I really don't want Jair to go anywhere. I think a lot of fans feel that way, man. I really do. Especially when they realize we're not going to get 2 first-round picks for him.
Right.
No, bub. Sorry. It's amazing how we think someone is trash, but we think the rest of the league is going to give up multiple, top picks. But anyway, Carrington Valentine, this is the guy that I'm excited about. PFF grade 65.5, role outside cornerback, number 2 or rotational starter, 2024 performance. Valentine, a 7th-round pick, stepped up in his second year, playing 14 games with 6 starts, recorded 34 tackles, 1 interception, and 5 pass breakups. I thought he had 2 picks. That may be an error right there. Might have just been 1. Showing growth as a boundary defender. Strengths, his length, 6 foot, 189, and competitiveness in press coverage. He's a willing tackler and has flashed upside in limited snaps. Challenges, inconsistent technique, and a tendency to get grabby led to 4 penalties in 2024. His PFF grade suggests he's still developing into a reliable starter. Contract status, he's under a rookie deal through 2026. Guys, when I look at this whole cornerback room, and that's what we're going to end this whole show with, is like, how do we feel about the entire cornerback room? If Ja isn't on this team, I'm not panicking. I'm not. Yeah. Ja missed a large majority of the season last year. What did they say, over 70% of the snaps? And we still finished 11th in pass defense in terms of yards per pass attempt. Like, what do we even, you know what I mean? It just, to me, it proves the Nate Hobbs signing, and we'll get to him here in a second. If anything, you don't have to go out and do anything desperate in the draft. You don't. But I will say this, even if Jair is back, if Jahdae Barron is the best on the board when we pick at 23, him and Jair on the same field, along with a newly added Nate Hobbs and a Carrington Valentine who's starting to get better, I feel really good about where we're at. But what do y'all think about Carrington here?
Good pickup. I'm glad they pulled the trigger on him. We just talked about Jason Marshall there. If it's something like that where you're going to take a flyer on him, we tried it with King. We'll see how that pans out. You get him. It's like you get him, you pick him in that round. All right, nothing happened this past year. Tough to get him on the field. All right, let's see how he does. Man, this year he tore it up for us. Or he really did. Make a name for yourself, someone with a chip on their shoulder. I think that's another nice thing you get. If you have a real dog that you find back in those late rounds, they come out there with a chip on their shoulder, not being drafted. No one thinks of that, who they are. Hey, I was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, but you're getting no love coming out of college. So, make a name for yourself now.
Yep. And those Kentucky Wildcat guys are no stranger to that situation, right? We've seen it before. I think when you look at like the challenges here, inconsistent with the technique, tendency to get a little grabby, we've seen that. And I think that's something he'll clean up as he continues to develop. He's under contract through next year. I can't wait to see how he comes out this season.
Yeah, I think another year under his belt, Carrington, having under Jeff Hafley's tutelage. And we keep forgetting about the passing game coordinator, too, the secondary coach. I keep forgetting his name. We talked about him. Ansley, right?
Yeah, DA.
Derek Ansley is like a dog, dude. Like, I mean, having Carrington Valentine try to learn under him, light that fire, I'm really excited to see what he does for sure. So, like what Monster says here in the chat, Jair and Barron and Nixon and CV and Hobbs are elite. That would just be a hell of a cornerback room, man. It really would.
Yep.
Really, really would. All right, up next on the list, Keyshawn Nixon, PFF grade 64.0. His role, slot cornerback, obviously kicked to the outside, actually played better outside last year, in my opinion. And special teams ace 2024 performance. Nixon played 65% of the defensive snaps, mostly in the slot, with 42 tackles, 1 interception, and 6 pass breakups. His real value came as a returner, earning first-team All-Pro honors in 22 and 23, though his 24 return stats dip slightly. His strength, speed, and tenacity and run support. His versatility keeps him on the field. Challenges, struggles in coverage against quick slot receivers, reflecting in his middling PFF grade. He's more of a hustle player than a shutdown defender. His contract status signed a 3-year, $18 million deal in 2024, locked in through 2026. Now, I feel like he's more of an outside corner than a slot. If it ends up being Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn Nixon, and Nate Hobbs, let's say Ja's gone and we don't get the cornerback we want in the first round, I would like to see, me personally, Nate Hobbs in the slot, Keyshawn on the outside, and Carrington on the outside. I think that Keyshawn plays better on the outside. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I didn't feel that way until last season.
Right.
He certainly surprised a lot of us with his ability to play on the boundary. And then, of course, having Bullard being able to step down there into the slot, certainly helped allow us to do that, even with Ja being, off the field. So I agree, though. Keyshawn is definitely better on the boundary, which is it's crazy to be saying that because, we spent so much time in 22 kind of evaluating him in the slot as a defender and, seeing him make that transition and actually hold his own. It's a good sign.
Yeah, I think I think that, if you get a guy that's getting cooked in a two-way in the slot, that's tough, right? And you paid him the money to return. You want to see if it'll work. Him playing outside wasn't bad. He got us through the season. We didn't have Ja. We got to be thankful that Nixon was there, else it'd be even worse. But we want more out of him. At least I want asking more out of Nixon. I think he wants more. And that kind of drive, I think, could bring him, maybe into the 70s, something like that. Battle. We're going to have if we're bringing in another corner, Ja, we got Nate Hobbs in there. I think we're really going to have a nice battle. A lot of iron sharpens iron in the, in the off season, try to get better with competition.
Yeah. H.E. Solder says, Nixon reminds me of Mike McCoy, a smaller guy that gets the most out of his ability and is an okay piece, but teams can put him in bad spots if they really need to get something. So there you go. Kind of mixed reviews there in the chat. Like Joseph says, he agrees on Nixon. Chuck Goodman says, not a Nixon fan. Sorry, no need to apologize, brother. It's all good, man. See a lot of people mentioning Kalen King already. We're going to get to him here in a second, which I think there's a chance we got something there too. If they would just give him a damn opportunity. Like that drove me crazy last year. We kept putting Eric Stokes out there. I'm like, I would rather see Kalen King on the field and just see what we got there than watching, because Stokes just looked so uncomfortable, man. So
to Kalen King point, Tremont Miller. Kalen King was a first grade DB as a junior. Yeah, man. Like you said, you got to be patient because you never know.
Yeah. All right, Nate Hobbs, the free agent acquisition here this offseason. PFF grade 61.4, rotational slot / outside cornerback. 2024 performance acquired from the Raiders in the 2024 trade. Hobbs brought experience with 42 tackles and 4 pass breakups in 13 games for Green Bay. They're drunk here, boy. Lord have mercy. He split time between the slot and outside, playing 55% of the snaps. Obviously, he was signed out of free agency, guys. Strengths, physicality, and instincts. He's a solid tackler. You see that all over the tape when you watch him. And me and Tim got in here watching some of his clips one night, and it's like, this dude is aggressive. He is the epitome of attacking the football. I really like it. 86% completion rate in 2024 and reads routes well in zone. Challenges, lacks top end speed and gets exposed in man coverage against faster receivers, contributing to his lower PFF grade. Contract status, inked a 4-year, $48 million contract with Green Bay last month. So, when you look at his rookie tape, if you guys want to see his ceiling, go watch his rookie tape. Was he not, Tim? Like that whole highlight reel?
That was incredible. I was fired up, man, just watching that. Super excited about having him here, and he's going to fit in perfectly in Hafley's defense because that's what Hafley's all about: being aggressive, playing the ball.
Yeah, and then it's like when you look at why did it click so much his rookie year? Rich Bisaccia was there, right? And then once Rich Bisaccia was gone, it seemed to kind of spiral out of control, So hopefully we can get the best out of him with Rich being on staff. What do you think, Amelia? I mean, it's not the sexiest free agent signing for sure. And again, like we always say, a 4-year deal is really a 3-year deal. In this case, it kind of feels more like a 2-year deal than even a 3-year deal because of the guaranteed money that's involved. So you give him a 2-year run there, and then you got rights to him 2 more years. It essentially turns into a club option after year 2. With some cap penalty obviously attached, but you can get out from under it pretty easy, man. I feel like it's, hey, let's take a swing here to kind of raise the floor in the cornerback room, just like we did with the wide receiver room and signing Mecole Hardman in case you don't get that wide receiver that you want in the draft, like an Egbuka or someone that maybe Goody's on. So I like it. It's a safe pickup. And you kind of stabilize that room a touch in case Ja's not going to be here. But what do you think?
Absolutely. And I think that, if you're looking at the room, do you want to go right back into next year with the exact same thing, just a couple of rookies coming in? So how are you going to have someone unseat a veteran if the rookie's not that, top 10 talent? How it's going to be tough for him to go ahead and get in there, get reps in practice, get enough time in front of the coaches to see him, make plays. Even with Evan Williams and Bullard, I mean, they you got a little bit of time, but it took how long for them to even get on the field? If you bring in a veteran, you can kind of push that room a little bit more, kind of get the best out of everyone a little bit sooner, and then move on from there. And when that trade happened, I just went through some of the comments in that post. Man, it seemed like every Raider fan was upset that they let him go. Like, how are we going to do this to our defense? We've got nobody left. Like, he was holding the secondary together. So it really is how you look at it. I mean, if we're looking at it from the outside or the inside, that you get a completely different perspective.
Yeah. And, it reminded me too, seeing those same comments, Amelia, it reminded me of when we lost Coach Campanelli, right? Our linebacker coach. All Packer fans jumped into the comments and like, y'all just got a damn dog. Y'all got a dog of a coach. Hated to see him go, man. He probably would have been my top choice to protect other than Jeff Hafley. Maybe Ansley over top of him. And it's obvious that – who was it, the Jaguars that went and got him? Am I thinking right?
It was a promotion, right? So we couldn't block the promotion.
Right.
So,
DC.
congrats. Yeah, totally deserves it.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Let's go to the chat real quick, see what everybody's saying. This was earlier. 2-0 for this says, I feel like all these players are measured with Ryobi tape measures, which is why there's a lot of error. Milwaukee tape measures would be extremely accurate. There you go. Sponsor the show, Milwaukee.
Please. We're close.
Holmes MD1 says he reminds me of Antoine Winfield quite a bit. Hey, that's a hell of a comp there. If that's the case, sign me up. H.E. Solder, physicality is the thing I like about Hobbs. Same thing we've seen on the tape. Fred McFarley, Half has a new chest piece, and Hobbs versatile and aggressive. And again, man, that's something you can tone down aggressive, but you can't put that in a player. You can't say, hey, man, I need you to go out there and play more aggressive. You either got it or you don't. And it kind of feels like when you do try to tone down a player's aggressivity, as Brady Papinga would say, you end up in a situation like Quay Walker, right? His rookie year, he was just turning it loose. He was a dog, and you get get ejection from the game, and now it seems like he's kind of, trying to tone that back. You just got to go out there and turn it loose. I don't think Hobbs will have any issue with that.
Yeah. I feel for Kalen King this year, because we were talking about Stokes stealing all his snaps, and then, we part ways with Stokes, who, funny enough, goes to the Raiders, which is hilarious. And then we, just when Kalen King's probably thinking like, man, I'm gonna get that shot this year, man, really gonna get some extra reps, and we bring in a dog like Nate Hobbs to the squad. So I think it's gonna bode well for the Packers either way, though. But I really hope King sees some of the field this year.
Yeah. H.E. Solder says, feels like they will mix and match at cornerback in 2025. I agree with that too. Yep. A lot of guys with slot versatility. One of those guys is Javon Bullard. Now, he didn't grade out well last year, 54.2, hybrid safety / cornerback, primarily a slot defender. In 2024, the 2024 second round pick, number 58 overall, transitioned from safety to a nickel role, playing 12 games with 38 tackles, 2 pass breakups, and 1 forced fumble. Strengths, versatility, and football IQ. He's comfortable in the box or covering tight ends and slot receivers. Challenge is still adjusting to the slot role with occasional lapses in coverage against their shiftier targets. His size, 5'10", 198, can be a mismatch outside. Contract status on his rookie deal through 2027. I want to say this about Javon Bullard. Much like Keyshawn Nixon going outside, He looked better there. Javon Bullard looked way better in the slot than he did at safety, in my opinion. So what you've got is Nate Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, and Javon Bullard, who have experience in the slot. So that really raises that floor in the slot room, in my opinion. That way, all right, you can mix and match guys outside, like Solder was saying, and you're in a good spot there in terms of slot defender. If you somehow have Jahdae Barron fall to you at 23 and you go that route in the first round, guess what? You got another guy who can play in the slot as well. And it doesn't mean that's where they're going to primarily be. It's just it's nice having that. If you get an injury, these guys can. It's not going to be foreign to them, So I think it's really, really, really cool. So, do you guys agree with that? Do you feel like he played better in the slot than at safety?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why we kind of saw Evan Williams kind of solidify his role back there. He was given an opportunity and he took it and ran with it. And you saw what happened when he was banged up and we had to stick Bullard back there. You could see the clear disconnect, in the secondary. So I would agree, because when we watch him play in the slot, he's an absolute monster, and still a little rough, still a little raw. But I think Javon Bullard is going to continue to develop really nicely. But I agree. I like him way, way more as a slot corner.
Yeah, I would agree. I like him in the slot, though. I'm going to stand up for Bullard and having to switch midway through the week to go to safety a couple of times this year. And I mean, that's a lot on a rookie for learning two roles, two sets of coverages, two sets of calls. So, I mean, he can do it right. Came from Georgia, big program, able to handle it. But, the numbers and the grades might not show it, just because he was asked to do a lot as a rookie, and he still came through and was on the field that whole time, even when they're asking him to do all that. So I'm excited to see where he goes this next year for sure.
Yeah. Daryl in the chat says, man, Kalen King barely played 2024 season. Kind of thought he'd or at least let him grow into it. Yeah, it kind of found yourself once Bullard kicked to the slot, it's like, Kalen King ain't ever going to see the field. This sucks, So maybe he will this year. And that's who we got up next. Obviously, there's no PFF grade. There's not enough snaps. 7th round pick from Penn State. King spent most of his rookie year on the practice squad or as a healthy scratch, seeing minimal defensive snaps. His strengths, college tape showed good ball skills. He had 18 pass breakups in 2022 at Penn State. Has a 4.47 40-yard dash that suggests potential. His challenges, raw technique, and lack of NFL experience make him a project. No PFF grade due to limited action. His contract status, he's under contract through 2027 is what it says here. Which I want to say that rookie year voided. I could be wrong when they kicked him to the practice squad, but he's definitely under contract for 2 years the way that works, I'm pretty sure. Right. So Kamal Hadden, PFF grade not available there as well. Again, we're just kind of rounding this room out, and then we'll wrap up. Another 2024 late round pick, 6th round pick. So he was drafted in the 6th round by the Chiefs, then cut, if I remember correctly. We picked him
out of Tennessee.
Yeah, exactly. Hadden played sparingly, mostly on special teams. He logged under 50 defensive snaps. His size says he's 6'1", 195. I didn't realize he had that kind of size. And physicality could fit Hafley's scheme long-term. Challenges, inconsistent college production, and a steep learning curve have kept him off the field. No PFF grade available. He's under contract through 2027 is what it says, rookie deal, which that should be reset too. So it's 2025. That makes sense. Should be a 2-year kind of, you got rights to him for 2 to 3 years, if I remember correctly. So, and then of course you got Isaiah Dunn. I don't think anybody knows who he is.
Who?
Dunn, a journeyman, signed in 2024. His strengths, a 4.41 40-yard dash and hustle makes him a roster bubble mainstay. Challenges, limited impact as a defender. He's yet to prove he can handle consistent coverage duties. No PFF grade due to limited role. Contract status, he is facing free agency in 2026. So overall state of the room, it says the Packers cornerback group is anchored by Jair Alexander, whose elite play elevates the unit when he's on the field. Depth is a plus with Valentine, Nixon, Hobbs, and Bullard, offering a mix of experience and youth. Hafley's scheme thrives on versatility, and players like Bullard and Nixon provide flexibility across the secondary. The group's tackling improved in 2024 with the missed tackle rate dropping to 9.8%. The league average is actually 10.5%. Challenges, injuries, and inconsistency plague the room. Alexander's health woes, Valentine's penalties, and Nixon's coverage struggles mean there are no reliable cornerback two to complement Jair. The lack of PFF grades for King, Hadden, and Dunn highlights how untested the back end is. Depth could falter if starters go down. Against top passing attacks, Detroit, Philadelphia, the secondary was exposed in 2024, allowing 8+ yards per attempt in those 3 losses there. So future outlook with Alexander locked in and Bullard and Valentine, King and Haddon under contract through at least 2026. The core is set. However, Hobbs hits free agency in 2026. That is not true. So disregard that. And Nixon's deal expires after 2026. So decisions loom. The Packers could target a day 2 corner in the 2025 draft. Can somebody say Trey Amos? Someone like Michigan's Will Johnson, if he falls, boy, that would be awesome if he fell somehow to the second round, wouldn't it? Or Notre Dame's Benjamin Morrison fits their mode of long, athletic press corners. For now, this unit relies heavily on Alexander staying healthy and Valentine or Bullard stepping up. Texas's Jahdae Barron would be a dream if he were to fall to pick 23. They've been listening to us, boys. They've been listening to us. So. Final thoughts. It's just pretty much going to repeat the same thing there, I'm pretty sure. So when you look at the overall cornerback room, how many spots do you think we have open, guys? Let's really look at this. Pretend Ja is on the roster right now, okay? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If Jair is on this roster, you've got 5 corners locked into a 53-man roster spot, right? So if Ja's not here, you got room for 1 more. Are you going to carry 6? I can't remember what we broke camp with last year, but if you carry 5, you're pretty much set if Ja stays, right? Yeah. And I think that was the whole point of the Nate Hobbs signing is like, hey, we don't have to freak out, right? Yeah. So, final thoughts here on the cornerback room, gents?
No, I would agree with that assessment. I think Jair is the spot, right? If he's gone, there's a spot. If he's not and he's healthy and he's going to be available, then I think you're right. We probably got our 5, unless they do, break camp with 6 or something. But it's tough to see, but with Hobbs coming in, I agree with that statement. That was, I don't want to use the word contingency plan, but let's be real. It was basically a contingency plan. You go out and you get a solid guy in free agency that's going to help your football team with or without Jair Alexander. So whatever happens, however the cookie crumbles, we're ready to go. Like you said, we don't have to panic.
Right. And how often are you pulling in a, 5th, 6th, 7th round corner and they're starting? I mean, how often are you? So that's something you got to kind of take into effect. Hey, let's take a veteran that's been there, been with one of our coaches already, and can play inside out versatility. I think all the signs just pointed to, we have to get this guy in here just to give us something.
Yep.
There you go. There's your cornerback room. Again, we also highlighted Jason Marshall just to give everybody an idea. That could be a late round pick, right? One of those dudes, or maybe an undrafted free agent if he falls that far. Who knows, though? Jahdae Barron, was he a top 30 visit too, Emilio? Am I thinking right? He was not. What are the top 30 visits looking like in the cornerback room? Savone Revel, right? That's it?
Yes.
And Jason Marshall now. So,
yes.
So you got
one early, one super late.
Yep. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Badger Trio with the super chat says, just drove past the stage. The roof is up. It is glorious. I can't begin to tell you how excited I am about this draft.
Going quick, man. It's coming together. There was no roof yesterday when I was over there, so that's awesome.
We thought we were flying into town a little later, Emilio. We're getting to Green Bay at 11 a.m., ain't we?
Yeah, no, we're going to be there. We're going to have some time.
I'm going to get me a cat nap in, bro. We can go to dinner Wednesday night and got to set everything up. We'll probably do a show before we go to dinner, maybe afternoon.
There you go.
Yeah, knock that out.
We'll lace up the Heelys and get you on the town, Clay.
Hey, let's go, man. You kidding me? I'm excited, man. Good food. Might have a daddy soda. I don't know. We'll see what happens at dinner. We'll see what happens. No, it's going to be a good time, man. It's I'm so glad we decided to go. And this isn't a shot at anybody who's not going. I understand, man. Life gets in the way. I had to move hell and half of Georgia to make my schedule work, so I completely get it. But like I said, when I told Manny, I was like, I don't, she literally threw something. She threw a notebook in the floor or something. It made a loud noise. I'm like, what the hell? She said, when's the next draft in Green Bay? And I was like, it's probably going to be 32 years. She was like, I said, you're right. I ain't making it that long. I'm probably going to be checked out by then. So I'll be taking a dirt nap by then. I won't get to see it. So, and I see people like Joseph said, sad I won't be there. Thank you for the super chat, Badger Trio. We're going to do our best to make you guys feel like you're there, right? all through the day while we're hanging out the draft, we're going to try to put social media posts up. Stay glued into Twitter at Packers_access. Stay glued into YouTube. I'm going to be posting shorts there as quick as we can get them out, just so you guys can kind of feel like you're there. And we're still going to be doing our live draft party from Green Bay. Now, obviously, we couldn't get a spot over there. They're not letting anybody do any live podcasting other than the major networks. So we will be in Green Bay at the B&B. We're going to have a really cool setup and keep the draft party going like we have every year, and just be there throughout the day. So we will make sure that you guys and gals that can't make it will feel like you're there as much as we can, for sure, man. So anything else, gents? We covered a lot tonight, man. I'm glad we got through those. I wasn't expecting to hit 3 top 30 visits tonight, but we were able to get them in, and I'm glad. I want to stay up on that. I want to make sure the Patreon group is just littered with information. If you guys have questions about prospects, you can go straight to the Patreon group, click on any of the page, check out the collections. We got them all sorted by position. Top 30 visits, you can go to the top 30 visits folder, and literally all the scouting reports of the top 30 visits are already in there. So make sure you check that out. So,
and if you're not a member, scan there we go, right here. Scan that QR code. Join the Patreon.
Absolutely. It's growing like crazy, man. I love it too. It's not even like you look up and see the numbers and go, man, this is awesome. It's the feedback you get, the direct messages are like, bro, this $3,
Yeah.
getting all this information. And we're all kind of learning together. That's the cool thing too. You got a direct line to me constantly. Emilio's in there, Tim's in there. Just go in the chat, ask a question. We'll get you the info. You also get the draft board in there as well. It's really cool, man. Really. I wish I'd have done it sooner, but and the thing that triggered it was, these people who wanted to donate to the show, to support the show, the Patreon group just sat there, and it was just like, hey, there's a way you can do it. That's the only way I know to figure it out, right? And then it's like, hold up a minute, why don't we give them something a little extra in there? And it's really taken over. So it's really, really cool. So
Absolutely.
Keith in the chat, thanks for the show, guys. No, thank you, man. Appreciate you swinging through, buddy. Everybody, Fred McFarley, everybody, man, you guys are awesome. Chuck, H.E. Solder, too many to mention here. Clint, armchair quarterback, too old for this. You guys are awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get out of here. I'm gonna go save my marriage, get some content uploaded. Tim, I know you got this to end the show on, baby. How many days?
15 days, baby. Bart Starr days till the draft. Let's go.
Well,
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, again, we'll be flying into town Wednesday, and we're going to be hanging out till Sunday. We leave Sunday. So, my goal is to do a show Saturday after the draft wraps up. We won't be live during the draft on day 3. We're going to be over there hanging out. If it gets boring over there, we may come back and jump on the live stream. But we're going to give you guys a recap. And then I'm hoping if no flights get delayed, I'll be in this chair Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, to go live and get you guys a show there. And then it's, all right, boys, I'll start grinding and putting together some chalk talks for all the prospects of the draft. It's going to be fun. So,
love it.
right. Everybody have a great night. We appreciate you. Hit that like button on the way out. Check out the Patreon group. It's the best way to support the show. And we will see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. Y'all take care.
And we gone.
All right.
Bye, guys.